Most ecom brands these days focus on lowering their CAC in one way, and it's by obsessing over the ads, whether that's Google, whether that's Meta, whether that's TikTok. They focus on doing new creatives, new strategies. They work with new agencies, and they think, how can I lower the CPC at all costs? And when that doesn't work, they walk away with essentially an incorrect conclusion, which is Meta's broken, or whatever platform it is isn't working well. Agencies suck, they don't work, and paid traffic just isn't what it used to be anymore. And it's the wrong way of thinking about it. And in reality, a lot of the time, at least 90% of the time, the problem isn't ads. It's what happens after people click, after they've left the ads, wherever they clicked on the ad and gone through to your website. Now, the reason you should listen to me is because over the last 12 months, I've spoken directly with over 500 ecom founders in one-on-one diagnostic calls. And the goal wasn't to sell them something that they thought that they needed. It was to identify exactly what it was that was holding their growth back and then suggest that to them. And the pattern that you're about to see is the reason why I made this video, because it showed up again and again, and it didn't matter what niche they were in, what spend they were at, what platform, it was irrelevant. It was universal across all. So let's talk about a setup, right? And let's just use a simple example. So say you've got 10,000 visitors being sent to your website from the ads. Your conversion rate is 1.2%, your average order value is $80, your net margin is 60%, so your net profit per order is $48 in total. And at a 1.2% CVR, you get 120 orders, revenue of $9,600, and a net profit of about $5,760. That means your break-even CPC is about 58 cents per click. Now, if you're familiar with running ads, you'll know that that's pretty low, right? That's pretty aggressive. You'd have to be doing pretty well to achieve that consistently with cold traffic. And any CPC above that, you're losing money. Bear in mind, that's break even. You actually need to beat that in order to be profitable in this scenario, right? And brand owners panic because of this, because they run ads, and you've probably experienced this yourself if you're a brand owner. You see that's what's happening. You're getting those results around, a CPC that is not profitable for you. You keep piling more money in, and it just isn't working, or you're profitable barely, or you're relying on those second and third and fourth purchases, that LTV to make you the money. You're actually struggling on the customer acquisition side, and it just sucks. It's a bad place to be. And the typical response here is that they look at that break even. Sorry, I've put a pound sign, not a dollar sign. It's because I'm British, of course. They look at that 58 cents and think, we need cheaper clicks, because logically that makes sense. We need to lower the cost of this. So they test new creatives, they change strategies, they try new agencies, because again and again I've seen this where people say, I worked with an agency, and the agency, I've been burned by them, they didn't do a very good job. But then when we look at all the metrics, it's like, well, no wonder they didn't do a very good job. They were working on the wrong problem. They were never going to be successful. And, I've had it before where I've had to turn people away from the service that they wanted and say, hey, you need this, because there's no way we're going to be able to make you successful, if we just focus on the ads, for example. And yeah, they just basically just try and get they buy a lottery ticket with the ad account with each ad. They treat it like a slot machine. They're relying on kind of luck or good fortune to make things work. And sometimes the CPCs drop for a little bit and then they rebound, or they put the budget up and then it drops some, whatever. And performance feels random, the confidence in the platform erodes, and generally speaking, everybody's not feeling very good. And eventually, the brand concludes, ads don't work for us, agencies suck, but nothing's actually changed on a fundamental level. Now, the smarter question you should be asking here, and this is what the top 10%, top 5% of brands do, is instead of asking how do we get cheaper traffic, they ask, why is my site only converting at 1.2%? Because 1.2% isn't a traffic problem, it's a conversion problem for a lot of niches. I know there are some niches that there is an exception here. If you're selling something that's super expensive, you're not going to convert it at 2 or 3%. But for a product with an AOV of $80, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be converting at 2, 3, even 4, 5% with the right website and the right people being sent to it. So yeah, assuming that those things, most of the time, these are reasonable numbers. And if you're sitting at 1.2%, it's you don't need better ads. You need a better website. You need to convert that traffic more effectively. You need better copy. You need to be more persuasive. You need to convince people why they should buy in a more, effective way. And the way you should be seeing it really is thinking, hey, there's a minimum standard I need to be facing here, need to be tackling here. So the fix would be, instead of changing the ads, it would be improving the conversion rate of the website, right? Getting CRO work done, building new product pages, building landing pages you can test, redesigning the entire website if the whole thing sucks. So many brands that I speak to, the website just does not do their product justice. People care so much about their products, they put their heart and soul into it. But then when you look at their website, it's no good. So we improve the CRO, right? We do the CRO, sorry. We improve the conversion rate. We take it from 1.2% to 2.3%. This is not crazy numbers. This is not, something like taken out of like the top 0.11% or whatever, 0.1% of brands. This is a very conservative increase. Honestly, some brands, like if I've spoken to them and they're at 2.3, I'm thinking they could improve from there. So I wanted to make it realistic. The same traffic, the same cost per clicks, or the same ad account, everything being the same. The only thing changing in this scenario, like when we did before, when we had 10,000 visitors go over to the website, is that now they get 230 orders, right, instead of 120, and they make $18,000 of revenue, 18,400, and the net profit is $11,040. Obviously, that's excluding ad spend, but now we can look at, right, okay, what is our new break-even CPC? It's almost double. It's $1.10. All of a sudden, if you were sitting at a 60 or 70 cent CPC, or even 80, and you were losing money on the front end, you were acquiring customers at a loss at first, and then recouping the money later down the line from the LTV. All of a sudden, you're making money on the front end, and you can increase the budgets, and you may see the CPCs climb, but you can still, they can climb. There's space for them to climb, and you can push your ad spend to like a new kind of plateau where you're at around that, if you like, you're at $1.10 CPC, but instead of spending $5,000 a month on ads, now you're able to spend $10,000 a month on ads, or $20,000. Now you're able to spend 30 or 40 or 50,000, and you're making more profit. From an absolute standpoint, you might find yourself facing the same problem, and you need to fix the next bottleneck. But that's still a much better position than where you were, because ultimately, the more customers you've got, the better. Just like as a rule. You didn't beat Meta in this scenario. You just made the website worthy of the traffic that you were already buying, and that one change has done three massive things. Like I said, cuts that CAC in half without lowering the CPC. It gives you room to scale without the performance collapsing. And it also stops that constant agency and like platform churn that happens when the system's weak. Say you work with an agency and you fix this, and they come in and they start delivering results. The results that you would have thought these guys suck before. Now look, you're looking at good results. This is effectively like doubling your ROAS. So if you're working with somebody, an agency, and they were getting you like 1.6 ROAS, and you're like, this is fine. But then you fix the CVR, and then now you're getting 3 ROAS, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. That's the same agency, same service, same people what you're working with, but just drastically different results. So yeah, the real lesson, is that most brands try and lower their CAC by like kind of fighting the auction, but the auction is only one piece of the equation, and so many brands, like brand owners, just focus on that one piece when it's not the base of the pyramid, right? It's higher up in the flow of things, right? So if your site's under converting, your CAC is mathematically forced to be higher, or at least higher than it should be, and it's very difficult to outbid it, right? Especially with ad platforms getting harder, and this is another reason why it's like so important. It's the competition's heating up. Anyway, so yeah, that's everything. So improving your conversion rate is the fastest ad-free way to lower CAC, ad-free way to lower it. But it's only the first lever. There are more things you can do after this. Hint, hint, I'm talking about email flows here, getting them right. You won't believe how many people I spoke to who get them wrong. Even when the traffic quality is good, people still like let stuff slip through the cracks, and it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, in the next video or newsletter as well, I've got a newsletter which you can subscribe to. This is what this video is based on. I'll be covering that. That'll be coming out in a couple days, so feel free to subscribe and check out the next video, and I will see you next time.